Welcome to Advertising Champions, your go-to destination for insights into the dynamic world of advertising. I'm Tony Stanol, and with us today is an old friend of mine, Marcelo Salup. We worked together in a previous life. Welcome, Marcelo.
Thank you, Tony. It's absolutely great to see you, and thank you for having me in the podcast.
Now, your company is called Performist. You're the CEO. And tell us like really quickly, we don't have a lot of time, but I know you have an illustrious background. Tell us what led you in your career journey to where you are today.
I've always been interested in the technology of it. I've always been interested in responses, even though it's not a pay-per-click or anything like that. And I've always been interested in the technology to really segment targets and reach them with, like customized advertising. And I've been doing that since cable was invented.
Right. And I remember, you were very scientific in, some of the presentations you gave on behalf of some of my clients. I remember the CEO of Nabisco at the time was eating out of your hand, just writing copiously during a presentation. We had a hard time getting to the creative. That's right. Yeah. But you're still into segmentation big time. Why don't you tell us a little about that?
Well, as we get fragmented or even worse, atomized really as consumers, I've driven more and more and more into segmentation. Actually, there was a project just before I joined Performist where we work with a health maintenance organization here in Miami to segment about 327,000 people, 65 plus, who would be ideal for them because they deliver Medicare services. Today, I just had a client, we just had a conversation like literally 10 minutes ago about segmenting a pixel of Washington crossing the Delaware. They were going into a direction of patriotism and all that. And as I looked at the audiences, all of a sudden I saw a very clear signal that we should also address people who like art, who collect art, who are sensitive to art. So we are segmenting both audiences and creating 4 different video spots for each one of the segments. I've seen it. I see it on the search results all of the time. Whenever we segment properly, we absolutely increase everything. The CTR, the response, the CPA. So I am very, very much into targeting people almost as individually as I can.
And you guys are in the business of creating content as well, it sounds like.
Yes, we create content, but it's secondary to paid advertising. Like the whole company is 80 people spread in 4 countries, and I think all of us are extreme believers in paid advertising and specifically programmatic advertising. I started programmatic advertising when it was basically invented, when I launched Equifax in the US Hispanic market. And I use both, programmatic advertising itself, and then I use programmatic creative, which is called dynamic creative optimization, to create a grid of, like creative and then media, and then seeing which one was a better choice for everybody.
Right. Now you touched on an example of what you've done for one client. In the last few remaining moments we have here, give us another example of what kind of work you do, maybe any particular industries.
Well, I don't know, like if I were to touch on one, it'd be Pexel, PelXP, because I'm working on it right now, even as we speak. We are literally doing everything. We're creating the website. I am looking at the different ways to segment the audiences, as I mentioned. We're creating not only content for the audience, but also response devices for the audience. And, it's the whole package. So it takes the person from, oh, I saw this and I reacted to this, to, hey, I actually bought this pixel. And I created even, like discount packages and, all sorts of mechanisms to get people to respond better and obviously to sell more, because that's what they pay me for.
It's great. Well, it's always you're always doing something interesting, Marcelo. Thanks for being with us today.
No, thank you very much. I love seeing you again, man. What can I tell you? You're great.
And thank you
See
for
you.
joining us on this episode of Advertising Champions. You could find out more about us and our podcast at dailynewsnetwork.com. And we'll see you next time.
We've been around for 16 years, working with clients, with thousands of clients. We're working with agencies to be able to scale them and grow them and provide them services that would cost them way more than it would for them to do it themselves. Anything oriented around lead generation, video creation, web design, we're full service, so we can really serve most people.